Okay, so in the previous video, we talked about accessing the teacher's edition or the teacher's manual, how to use that to figure out how to lesson plan, which we would look at the unit. Then we would go, as we turn the pages in the manual, we get more and more in depth until we go through basically a week at a glance. Then we go through a day at a glance, and then we go into the individual actual lesson plans. The MyView lessons are made to do one lesson a day, and they're even blocked out for you by week. And we've already discussed that each day we start with an introductory anchor text, then we move into our actual anchor text. We start with during the week on Tuesday, I guess hypothetically, we read that anchor text and get some basic comprehension. We do close reads on days 3 and 4 of the week, and on day 5 we write about it. Okay, so now we're moving into more of these teacher resources that we can find through the Savvas Realize program. Each time you go into another level, so to speak, you will have teachers' resources to the side. These are going to change with every click that you make. So, for example, if I want to go into Unit 1, my teacher's resources are going to change because now I'm in Unit 1, so I have all the Unit 1 resources here. Now, if I actually want to go into Unit 1, Week 1, I'm unlocking more resources because I'm getting more specific. So these are all of the Unit 1, Week 1 resources. Then if I went even further into Lesson 1, I'm going to see all the components I need to complete this lesson right here on this page. So if I click on the teacher resources, I'll see a small group guide that directly correlates with this. I can look at what the students would see in their book. And then if I click on Teacher's Edition, it'll really take me right to this section of the Teacher's Edition. So if you're not a fan of flipping through and using the table of contents that we found over to the side, you can click on this link and it'll take you to this particular part of the Teacher's Edition. They also have assigning buttons over here where you can assign the student resources directly to them. So if you wanted to individually send these things to them, you would hit Assign All. I don't have students, so this looks different for me than it will for you. Okay, so that is how we use these resources. You'll also see if there's a read aloud. There is a version of it here. So if you haven't received these materials physically, it's okay. We luckily have the digital access as well. I actually prefer the digital version because students can see the pictures a little larger and they can also read along with you as you read the words. Just like with the Teacher's Edition, it does have to load for each page. But just giving a preview, you could see how now students can all see the pictures versus with like a handheld and you're reading aloud. It's much harder for students in the back to maybe see those details that students in the front could see. So this is a great resource even when we get everything physical that I would still utilize. You can also assign this to them so they can see it on their own device and follow along with you. So just a few benefits of that. Oops. Okay, if you're done with something, you can hit exit and it'll take you back to the last page you were at. It's the equivalent of the back button. If you want to see what the students will see, you can click on these. And then like I said, there's also a small group guide. This will be a book that you get physically. So it would be best to familiarize yourself with it before, but it's also organized by chapters, and you can connect back to your lessons. If you go back to that teacher planner document where it broke it down lesson by lesson, it told you which small group lesson you should use. They do not necessarily go in order, so I would refer to that lesson at a glance page where it looked like a lesson planner to figure out what lesson would be best to correspond. So those are your accessible resources organized by unit and weeks and even by lesson in the Savvas Realize program.